ちは。このポッドキャストはトロントに住む私ミーと私のパートナーであるベトナム系カナダ人の埼玉くんがダイバーシティについて考えるラジオです。おはようございます。
Ohayo gozaimasu. Ooh, interesting week.
I know. It was so when that happened, I was doing I was working in front of my laptop. I mean computer at home.
Yeah.
In the bedroom. And I think I saw someone's posting talking about the incidents happening at the Capitol Hill. So right away I turned on the Twitter and then went to the BBC or somewhere like media where it was chaos.
That's
God.
I didn't even know about it when
You
it was
didn't,
happening.
yeah.
You told me.
Yeah.
I was like, wow. When I saw it, I didn't think it was real at first.
Yeah.
But, wow.
I mean, to be honest, some images that like media tech were amazing.
I know. It looks so cool.
It was like movie. Yeah. So yeah, but it's not something we should laugh about. But wow. I mean, yeah. Being sarcastic though. Very United States, honestly.
It just feels surreal. But then when you take a step back, it's only a small number of people compared to. So the only problem is how many of these supporters out there that are willing to do this?
I don't know. He was so before this incident, the riot. Trump was having the rally in front of White House. There, hundreds of thousands of people, supporters, went there, and Trump made a speech, and then they marched towards the Capitol Hill, and then that happened. Like beyond the protest, beyond the march, some started breaching. Into the building, Capitol Hill. So, as everyone knows, in the end, there are 5 people dead. 4 of them was supporters. 1 of them is a police officer. So, for this police officer, it was such a tragedy. Yeah. This is a big thing.
And then his death could have been prevented because the police kind of knew and they chose not to accept additional help.
Yeah, I mean, like they gave up. We saw the video of just before the crowds get into the building. There are guards. Guards are kind of standing in front of the door, but they kind of gave up. They couldn't do anything. Like they couldn't be violent, I guess, because they are white. I don't know.
So the hypocrisy was very obvious. That the fact that some of these people showed up and like try to breach the Capitol building and nothing happened to them is very obvious. And then obvious that there was privilege. The second thing was like you had a limited police force. Whoever was in charge, why would you try to barricade them from the outside? Why don't you just go in and lock all the doors? And then if they try to enter the doors, that's when you like start shooting. Right?
Yeah, they were breaking windows too. That's such a low thing to do for sure. I mean, come on.
My question is, what do these people think is going to happen?
I don't know.
Right? Like, okay, if you broke in.
They are very entitled to something. Like being patriots, if I borrow the word from the Trump.
It's like, it's not even patriots.
kind of a patriot. Nationalist.
Patriot, yeah. They call themselves patriots because they think it's for their country, but everyone else is calling them an insurrection.
It's terrorism.
Yeah, it's terrorist.
And then those stupid, dumb people went into the building and then, sat down on the desk of the officer, put the legs on the desks, and then took some
supplies.
What was the surprise? But
it was like the podium stand.
God, that was shocking images to see.
I wonder if like any of them tried to steal documents, like classified documents, because they were in the desk of the senators. And the good news is employers are trying to find who these people are and possibly fire them if they have grounds.
Yeah, some people are already fired.
Yeah, so the rule.
It's so stupid that one of them had the
the ID.
Employee ID.
Like, how dumb did you think you were?
When he was in the building and then there are so many photos of him. Obviously, it's so easy for employers. Is that him?
Yeah. I was like,
Okay, anyways. Obviously the article we will pick up today, we will talk about today is related to this incident. So after the incident, everyone knows that Twitter banned Trump's account permanently. So it's about, where is it from? So it's from AP. So the title is Twitter bans Trump, citing risk of violent incitement. Please listen to the article, but also think if this is the restriction of freedom of speech. お願いします。
Twitter bans Trump, citing risk of violent incitement. Twitter banned President Donald Trump's account Friday, citing the risk of further incitement of violence following the deadly insurrection at the U.S. Capitol on Wednesday. Twitter has long given Trump and other world leaders broad exemption from its rules against personal attacks, hate speech, and other behaviors. But in a detailed explanation posted on its blog Friday, the company said recent Trump tweets amounted to glorification of violence when read in the context of the Capitol riot and plans circulating online for future armed protests around the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. The social platform has been under growing pressure to take further actions against Trump following the Wednesday violence. On Thursday, Facebook suspended Trump's account through January 20th and possibly indefinitely. Twitter merely suspended Trump's account for 12 hours after he posted a video that repeated false claims about election fraud and praised the rioters who stormed the Capitol. Trump's Twitter persona has long functioned as a mix of policy announcements, often out of the blue, complaints about the media, disparagement of women, minorities and his perceived enemies, and praise for his supporters, replete with exclamation marks, all caps, and one-word declarations, such as sad. He has fired numerous officials on Twitter, and his posts, like his speeches at rallies, are a torrent of misinformation. The White House did not immediately respond for a request for comment. Twitter declined to make CEO Jack Dorsey available and had no further comment. The official account for the President of the United States, @POTUS, remains live. In fact, Trump, who issued a statement Friday evening that denounced Twitter as the enemy of free speech and floated the idea that he might build his own platform, also posted it on the @POTUS account, where it was quickly deleted. Twitter says using another account to evade suspension is against its rules, and that while it won't ban government accounts like @POTUS or @WhiteHouse, it will take actions to limit their use. Shannon McGregor, an assistant professor of journalism and its media at the University of North Carolina, said the move lets Twitter try to curry favor with the incoming Biden administration. Trump only has 2 weeks left in power, and that certainly makes it easier to deplatform the president, she said. Others saw this a more ominous portion Others saw a more ominous portent in Twitter's action. Big tech is not going to stop with the President of the United States. Kay James, president of the conservative think tank, the Heritage Foundation, wrote in a tweet, "They can ban you next," and everyone reading this. In the Trump tweet cited by Twitter, Trump stated that he will not be attending the inauguration and referred to his supporters as American patriots, saying they will have a giant voice into the future. Twitter said these statements are likely to inspire others to replicate the violent acts that took place on January 6, 2021, and that there are multiple indicators that they are being received and understood as encouragement to do so. Twitter said its policy enables world leaders to speak to the public, but that these accounts are not above our rules entirely, and that Twitter said its policy enables world leaders to speak to the public, but that these accounts are not above our rules entirely and can't use Twitter to incite violence. Trump had roughly 89 million followers. Twitter shares fell roughly 4% in the after-hours trading, reflecting concerns that the Trump ban might reduce usage and advertising sales. Jonathan Greenblatt, who heads the Anti-Defamation League, said Friday that banning Trump was an excellent step and a fitting end to a legacy of spewing hate and vitriol. The ADL was part of a coalition of civil rights and advocacy group on Friday calling for Twitter to ban Trump's account. Twitter, long accused of treating the president with kid gloves, began policing Trump more aggressively starting in the early days of general presidential campaign, when the company began aggressively labeling his false tweets about supposedly widespread election fraud as disputed. An actual permanent suspension had been all but unimaginable, at least until he lost his bid for re-election. In May, after Trump tweeted the phrase, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts," in response to protests in Minneapolis, Twitter added a warning label to his post for the first time. Tension between Trump and Twitter only escalated from there. Banning Trump entirely was a big step for the company, if one that it avoided taking until the president was a lame duck and its larger rival Facebook already banned him indefinitely. Now that Trump has been knocked off one of his favorite pulpits, he may resort to other online channels such as Parler, a 2-year-old, more freewheeling alternative to Twitter that has become increasingly popular among the president's most ardent supporters. Many have used the forum to spread falsehood and hateful comments. But Parler, which was already tiny compared to Twitter, has bigger problems that could threaten its future. Google suspended Parler from its App Store on Friday over continued posting that seek to incite violence. Google suspended Parler from its App Store on Friday over continued posting that seek to incite ongoing violence in the U.S. The company cited an ongoing and urgent public safety threat and said Parler won't be reinstated until the issues are addressed. Apple has issued Parler a similar warning threat and given it 24 hours to fix things. Parler CEO John Matsy said in a post that the company won't cave to political motivated companies and these authorians who hate free speech. While Trump could migrate to Parler, Gab, or some other alternative site, doing so will greatly limit his influence, McGregor said. Trump has always craved legitimacy, and standing in the mainstream media despite his complaints about normal reporting he has long referred to as fake news. He won't get that on other platforms, he said. Democratic Representative Benny Thompson, chairman of the Committee on Homeland Security, said in a statement Friday that Facebook and YouTube should also ban Trump. On Friday, Twitter also permanently banned 2 Trump royalists, a former National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, and attorney Sidney Powell, as part of a broader purge of accounts promoting the QAnon conspiracy theory. Twitter said it will take action on behavior that has potential to lead to offline harm. Given the renewed potential for violence surrounding this type of behavior in the coming days, we will permanently suspend accounts that are solely dedicated to sharing QAnon content. Twitter said in an email statement. The company also said Trump's attorney Lin Wood has permanently suspended Tuesday for violating its rules, but provided no additional details. Dozens of QAnon social media accounts were hyping up Trump's January 6th rally in the heart of Washington, expressing hope that it could lead to the overturn of the election results.
はい。じゃあですね、埼玉くんに読んでもらった記事の日本語訳に行く前に、前提ですね。今回のこの記事、取り上げた記事の、はツイッターがトランプ大統領の個人アカウントを永久停止にしたっていう記事なんですけど、その前に起こった、皆さんご存知だと思うんですけど、前代未聞のインシデントがあったので、その前提をちょっとお話ししますね。で、年明け早々1月6日に、上院と下院です。米国国会議事堂で上院と下院の合同会議が行われてました。それは選挙人団、大統領選挙の選挙人団の、投票結果の開票をしていたんですね。で、つまりその日っていうのはバイデンさんの、勝利が本当に確定する、日だったんですね。で、それを受けてその日は皆さんもバイデンが勝つっていうのは分かってたことなので、それに対して、決起集会をトランプさんが、ホワイトハウスの前で、行っていました。で、それにトランプサポーターが、集まってきていて、でそこでトランプさんはスピーチをしてるんですね。でその中でじゃあでもこのスピーチの後みんな共和党の議員のサポートをするためにみんなでなんていうんですかね、国会議事堂の方に向かってマーチ行進デモしようっていうふうに彼は呼びかけていました。で言葉の中にファイトとか be wild とかそういう言葉を端々で使ってたみたいですね。そしてその後実際にデモ隊が行進マーチしていくんですけど、結果的に皆さんご存知の通り、暴動と化してしまって国会議事堂の中に侵入して、結果5名亡くなったと。で4名はサポーターだったんですけど、そのうち1名が警察官で、前代未聞というかなんて言うんでしょう、法治国家ではね、その先進国法治国家民主主義がなってるはずの国、アメリカですもんね、としては、前代未聞のことが起こったっていうふうに、その日は本当に大きいニュースになっていて、私もたまたま自分の机で作業をしている時にツイッターかフェイスブックじゃないなツイッターかインスタで誰かがそれをシェア、こんなことが今起こってるっていうのをシェア誰かがしてて、でなんだろうと思ってニュースを開いたら、生中継で私が住んでるトロントとワシントン同じ時間帯タイムゾーンにあるので、まさに今起こってることが映し出されてて、もう想像を絶するというか、もうびっくりしちゃって、もうそこから作業全部止まっちゃって、自分のすごい釘付けになっちゃいましたね。メディアに上がってる、写真とか本当にすごい、なんて言うんでしょう、本当はそんなこと言っちゃいけないと思うんですけど、いい写真が撮れてるんですよ。コンフェデレーションフラグって言ってアメリカ南部の人たちの結束を表す旗があって、それを掲げてるだけで結構もうレイシストって思われるような旗なんですけど、米国アメリカ人第一主義みたいな、白人至上主義みたいな。でその旗を持って米国国会議事堂の中のその大階段の真ん中に掲げてるある人が、トランプサポーターが掲げている写真とか、もちろんその国会議事堂合同会議行われてる時にメディアがいっぱい集まってたので、もういっぱい記者の人たちもいたんですよね、カメラマンの中に。だからここぞとばかりにメディアの人たちは写真撮りに行っただろうなと思うんですけど、はい。でなんか日本人からは想像できない、侵入した人たちが、議員とかオフィサーの部屋に ね、オフィスに入って椅子に座ってそのオフィサーの机の上に足を上げたりとかして写真撮影してるんですよ。もうすごいびっくりします。そういったことがあって、とにかくアメリカでは本当に大きい事件になりました。まさにアメリカの民主主義の根幹を大きく揺さぶるというふうにみんな取り上げて、揺さぶった事件だというふうに、取り上げていました。で、その前後に、トランプ大統領のツイートとかツイッターに上げられた動画とかの内容から、ツイッター社がそれをポリシーに反するとして、1月8日かなにトランプさんの個人アカウントをツイッター社が永久停止しました。で、今回のテーマとしては皆さんにもお聞きしたいんですけど、暴力を扇動する恐れがあるという理由でツイッター社のポリシーにのっとってアカウントを停止したという、ツイッターの決定と、ツイッターが個人の言論の自由を奪っているという非難もあります。で、どちらに賛同しますか？ちょっと考えてみていただければと思います。じゃあまず、記事の和訳を読んでいきます。ツイッター、暴力行為を扇動する恐れがあるとしてトランプのアカウントを永久停止。長い間ツイッターは個人への攻撃やヘイトスピーチ、その他問題のある投稿に対抗するポリシーの適用からトランプや各国リーダーを除外してきた。しかし1月8日に投稿された同社ブログによると、国会議事堂での暴動や次期大統領ジョー・バイデンの就任式での武装デモ計画がインターネット上で広まっている状況下において、トランプのツイートが読まれた場合、暴力行為を美化しているに等しいというふうにツイッターは説明した。ソーシャルメディアのプラットフォームであるツイッターに対して1月6日の暴動を受けてトランプのアカウントに何らかの措置を取るべきという圧力が高まっていた。1月7日、Facebook はトランプのアカウントを1月20日まで停止し、また永久停止にする可能性もあると発表した。一方、Twitter はトランプが不正選挙に関する誤った主張を繰り返し、国会議事堂に突入した暴徒を褒めたたえる動画を投稿した後、トランプのアカウントを12時間停止したにとどめた。トランプの Twitter アカウントは政策の発表に混ざって唐突なメディア批判、女性やマイノリティ、敵とみなされた人たちへの誹謗、支持者への称賛を簡単符、全大文字、悲しいなどの一言で表現するものとして機能してきた。トランプは多くのスタッフをツイッターで解雇し、ツイートや決起大会でのスピーチは誤った情報が満載だった。ツイッターアカウントの永久停止に対するホワイトハウスのコメントは得られなかった。また、ツイッターは CEO ジャック・ドーセー氏のインタビューを拒否し、同社からのコメントもなかった。アメリカ合衆国大統領の公式アカウント、@POTUS は停止されていない。トランプは1月8日夜、ツイッターを言論の自由に対する敵と非難し、自らのプラットフォームを構築する可能性を示唆する声明を発表。それを@POTUSアカウントに投稿した。その後、すぐにその投稿は削除された。ツイッターは他のアカウントを使い永久停止措置を逃れる行為は同社のルールに反し、@POTUSや@WhiteHouseなどの政府公式アカウントを永久停止することはないものの、使用を制限しうると述べた。ノースキャロライナ大学ジャーナリズム・メディア学のシャノン・マクグレガー助教授は、この措置でツイッターは次期バイデン政権にごまをすろうとしていると言い、トランプに力があるのは残りたった2週間なので、大統領のアカウントを停止するのは簡単だっただろうと述べた。ツイッターの行動が不潔な兆候だと考える者もいる。保守系シンクタンクヘリテージ財団のプレジデント、K. ジェームズ氏は、巨大テック企業がアカウント停止するのは米国大統領にとどまらないだろう。次に停止されるのはあなたやこのツイートを読んでる人みんなかもしれないとツイートした。ツイッターにより指摘されたトランプのツイートで、トランプは就任式に出席しない旨を公表し、支持者はアメリカの志士 と呼んだ上で、将来にわたって彼らが大きな声を持ち続けると述べた。これらの声明が2021年1月6日に起こった暴力的行為の再現を誘発しかねず、それを焚きつけていると見受けられるいくつかの情報があるとツイッターは述べた。ツイッターは自社のポリシーが各国のリーダーが国民に呼びかけることを可能にはしたが、彼らのアカウントが完全にツイッターのルールから免除されることはなく、ツイッターを暴力を扇動するために使うことはできないと述べた。トランプのアカウント停止措置がツイッターの使用や広告費を減少させるという心配を反映して、ツイッターの株価は時間外取引でおよそ 4% 下落した。名誉毀損防止同盟代表のジョナサン・グリーンブラッド氏は1月8日、トランプ氏のアカウント停止は素晴らしい一歩で、ヘイトと誹謗中傷のまき散らしの遺産に見合った終焉だと述べた。名誉毀損防止同盟は、ツイッターはトランプのアカウントを停止すべきと訴えた市民権や支持団体連盟に名を連ねていた。以前から大統領を手ぬるく扱っていると批判されてきたツイッターは、大統領本選挙序盤で積極的にトランプを監視し始めた。広く共有されている不正選挙という思い込みに関してのトランプのツイートを疑問視するに値するツイートとしてラベルをつけ始めたのだ。ただし永久停止という措置は少なくとも敗北が確定するまでは想像もつかないものだったはずだ。昨年5月、ミネアポリスでのデモへの応答として、トランプが略奪が始まったら銃で規制するとツイートした後、ツイッターはこの投稿に初めて警告ラベルを追加した。そこからトランプとツイッターの間に緊張状態が生まれた。トランプが任期残りわずかの死に体になり、最大のライバルである Facebook がそうするまで、ツイッターもアカウント永久停止を避けることもできたが、それを待たずに踏み切ったことは大きな一歩となった。お気に入りの説教団のうち一つから追い出されたトランプは、2年前に生まれたツイッターよりも自由なパーラーなどのオンラインチャンネルに手を伸ばすかもしれない。パーラーは熱心なトランプ支持者の間で人気を伸ばしており、その多くが虚言やヘイトコメントを広めるために使っている。ツイッターに比べて取るに足らないパーラーだが、その将来を左右する大きな問題に直面している。1月8日、アメリカ合衆国で現在進行中の暴力行為を扇動しようとする投稿が続いていることを理由に、Google がパーラーをアプリストアから追放したのだ。Google は公衆安全を脅かすものとして、パーラーがこの問題を解決しない限り措置を解除しないと発表した。Apple もパーラーに似たような警告を発しており、24時間で対応するように求めた。パーラーの CEO ジョン・マッツ氏は、同社は言論の自由を取り締まる政治的な思惑のある企業や権威主義者には屈しないと投稿の中で述べた。マクグレガー氏は、パーラーやギャブなど似たようなプラットフォームにトランプが移行する可能性もある一方で、それは影響力を大きく制限することになると述べた。普通のニュースをフェイクニュースと非難してきたにもかかわらず、トランプは常に正当性にこだわり、大手のメディアに登場することを欲してきた。他のプラットフォームではそれが叶わないとマックグレーガー氏は述べた。国土安全委員会委員長で民主党のベニー・トンプソン議員は1月8日の声明で、Facebook と YouTube もトランプのアカウントを永久停止すべきと述べた。1月8日、Twitter はトランプに忠実な家臣2人、前国家安全保障問題担当大統領補佐官のマイケル・フリン氏と弁護士のシドニー・パウエル氏のアカウントも永久停止した。Q アノン陰謀論を広めていたアカウント追放の一部として取られた措置だ。ツイッターは現実の世界での危機を招きうるような投稿やアカウントに対して措置を取っていくと述べた。今後数日間にこういった振る舞いに見られる新たな暴力行為の可能性を考慮して、Q アノンに関連する内容だけを共有しているアカウントを永久停止する予定だとツイッターはメールで回答した。同社はまた、 トランプの弁護士リン・ウッド氏のアカウントも1月5日に永久停止したと公表したが、詳細の理由は発表されていない。何十もの Q アノンの SNS アカウントがトランプが開催した首都心臓部での1月6日の決起大会を煽ってきており、選挙結果をひっくり返すことにつながることを願っていると訴えていた。
Okay.
Do you think, okay, let's talk about the incident first, the
Okay.
Capitol Hill. Do you think it happened because of his statements or speech or postings through Twitter?
I think it really triggered them. So it's like their emotions were already built it up, and then he gathered them there at the White House. So he's like just rallying them. Oh yeah, we're gonna lose this election. This is being stolen from us. He's hyping up their emotions so much. All he has to do was just like give them a little nudge. It's like, how about we just take this rally to Capitol Hill? Let's go over there and give our congressmen support the losers who don't have enough support. It's like he's saying, it's like double entendres.
It's indirect.
Yeah, it's like you're saying the words but saying the opposite of the words. Like don't hurt. It's like don't you say it in a way that the person hearing it understands that you want to say it the reverse. Like take care of it. Like that kind of thing.
I see.
So you send them over there. It's like, oh, let's give them the support, and mob mentality builds up, and the fact that they were already there supporting this, they're already hyped up to that extent.
Like, it's so easy to imagine what could happen because the Trump supporters who were there were like hundreds of thousands of people. It was such a big crowd.
Thousands? I don't think hundreds of thousands.
He said so.
Yeah, I don't believe Trump.
Anyways, so you could see, at least if he couldn't see, at least his staff or people around him could see what could happen if they march there. Like, it wouldn't be like super peaceful thing.
Yeah.
So, like...
I don't think they can, though.
Yeah. As you said, he didn't have to directly say something leading it to kind of riot, but he just he pushed.
He kept
like with his finger or something like that. And so I'm not sure. Maybe legally he can't be sued, but
well, I mean
they're looking into
it. They're looking into it, definitely.
Into it. Yeah, including what Trump said. But sure.
I hope they find something, because come on. What kind of president does this?
So after that, Trump posted the video on Twitter stating, like, praising the supporters.
Yeah, what?
Like, he said, go home with peace. But you are patriots.
Yeah.
So Twitter saw it was problem, so they suspended 12 hours.
Yeah.
Then permanent ban happened.
Yeah.
So the Twitter says it Trump tweets amounted to glorification of violence when read in the context of the Capitol riot, and plans circulating online for future armed protests around the inauguration of President-elect Joe Biden. So it's kind of precaution for Twitter. Like, they wanted to make sure that he wouldn't tweet or say anything about kind of inside
I guess
protest at the inauguration.
So then the question becomes, is Twitter doing this because they're worried that the platform will be used to create more violence so that they're responsible because of the violence, or they're just, they don't want to be involved because it's bad image or bad press that their platform is being used for this?
I don't know.
I'm pretty sure it's both, but I don't think the main concern is that he's using it to spread hate. I'm more thinking that now that they're worried he's using them to spread hate and that they're going to be held responsible for letting him use it.
I see.
Right? That's why they're just going outright and saying they're banning him.
Yeah, but actually, in the article, it said Twitter has been treating those leaders, world leaders, with kid gloves.
Exactly.
It means that they're oversighting.
Yeah.
They were oversighting what they did actually wrongly. So so many people were complaining Twitter about it. Why you treat the leaders like with privilege?
Yeah.
Because people get suspended. General people get suspended by hate speech.
Yeah.
So that's Twitter's policy. But finally they did it.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So I don't know why people are talking about freedom of speech actually. Because they do have policies.
They do. But that's why these people are, I'm going to say it, these people aren't educated. They're thinking that their rights, their constitution protects them from everything. I'm like, it protects the government from doing unconstitutional things. It doesn't protect corporations from enforcing their own policies.
Yeah, it's private corporation, you said, right? Yeah.
So that's why anyone who says that this is violating free speech, they're kind of an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, so they would say, but Twitter is too big to be kind of considered as just one of private companies, I guess. They would say so because Twitter became such a big media kind of platform. So that's why I think they're fighting with the freedom of speech theory.
I don't think they're going to win, but good luck.
Yeah. I don't know if they are really trying to do the protest inauguration.
I'm pretty sure there will be one or two small protests now, but now that this event happened, they're going to be very precautious.
Yeah.
Because they already said the inauguration event, it will be, I guess there will be no parade, so they won't do that drive-through.
Yeah. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
Really, you shouldn't.
Like maybe they'll still do the swearing ceremony, but it'll be socially distanced as well on the steps, but yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so the people who are complaining what Twitter did to Trump, like they always say it's freedom of speech.
Yeah.
And the big tech, who is not the government, shouldn't have that kind of controlling power to restrict the one's freedom of speech, I guess. So obviously today big techs are kind of dominating the world on the internet. But what do you think about it?
Well, okay, so people are saying how it's too big. Well, really, if it's the users, right? Like if people start slowly leaving these platforms, they lose their power. So stop thinking like it's too big to fail or too big.
I know.
Right? That's.
I mean, aren't you using it?
Yeah.
Right?
We are using it, but you can always walk away. It's a big step to walk away, and I get that, but you can still walk away because there will always be something new or something better. As for Twitter, wait, what was the question? Twitter.
Like people are questioning, big tech should have such a big power?
Oh, so they should be. Whether they should be allowed to control or limit the abilities one person's to free speech.
It's more like. No, I think people are just complaining how they can do it.
Okay, so if they're complaining why Twitter's doing it,
so
it's the same.
I don't really get the question.
No. Okay, so if that's their question, I think they're asking the wrong question because they don't understand what Twitter is. Twitter, for me, is like a microphone, right? They're not stopping you from going out to the corner and saying whatever you want to say. They're just saying don't use our service. So that's not really limiting your free speech.
Yeah, I don't know why they connected to the Twitter's fault or something. It's like they are operating the platform, that's it.
Yeah.
And then they have the policy, rules.
Yeah.
According to that, they banned.
Yeah.
So it's that simple.
Yeah.
But the person was such an influential person. That is why people are just now talking how big tech can affect the one's influence.
Yeah.
So that's why people are complaining, I know, but it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
So,
especially if they're complaining why Twitter's doing to Trump, because he's such an important figure, he's the president. He shouldn't have his, account suspended, because he needs to be accessed by everyone. Well, first of all, there's still the other official White House accounts, and there is still an official White House press room. So if Trump needs to get a message out to the country, he can't. They're just banning a private citizen's private account because he was using it to promote, hate or inciting violence.
And fake news.
Yeah. Because remember, this is Trump's personal account. It's not the White House's account.
Exactly. So I don't get it.
Yeah, so
I really don't get it.
Their rules apply to a private individual.
So I'm pretty sure people can understand when there is a person, there is a Twitter account of private, the individual who keep posting about hate speech of specific race group, let's say. And then obviously Twitter will come to the person warning. And then if they don't stop it, they will ban. Twitter will ban. And then would you question that?
No, you
They
wouldn't.
don't, right? So it's the same thing happened to Trump for sure. So I don't know why people are questioning that. So I brought here the United States free speech exceptions. Okay, categories of speech that are given lesser or no protection by the First Amendment include
obscenity, fraud, child pornography, speech integral to illegal conduct, speech that incites imminent lawless action, speech that violates intellectual property law, true threats, and commercial speech such as advertising.
What is the imminent lawless action?
So imminent means speech that gets someone to break the law right now. Imminent means immediate.
Okay.
And
do you think it applied to Trump?
Because they're saying that he's inciting violence, which is inciting imminent lawless actions.
Yeah, so maybe I think this is
this is grounds.
This is
but
the ground.
People will argue on the technical things that he never actually said, go storm the building, go enter the building. He just says, go over there to give them support. And those are the things that Trump is going to rely on, or his supporters are going to say.
There are exceptions, obviously, for the freedom of speech, as you can imagine. Like, you can't say whatever you want to if it's harmful, right? So, I don't know why people are talking about freedom of speech.
Because, again, they only hear what they want to hear. I mean, I'm guilty of that too, but they're guilty worse because this incident's so much worse.
Yeah.
But it's good, kind of, that now that it's happened, people can help prevent it. I'm
sure many Republican supporters took a back.
Yeah.
So the other thing in the article was that, so Twitter is banning the people and accounts other than Trump.
Yeah.
And then the reason they stated is about QAnon theory. So we don't really know the details about QAnon, but it is in the media recently. It comes up a lot. So let's see what QAnon is. So Twitter banning the accounts who are posting the QAnon theory.
Okay.
Because it is violated violating their policy. Okay, so what is QAnon?
QAnon, so this is from Wikipedia, first line. QAnon is a disproven and discredited far-right conspiracy theory alleging that a cabal of Satan-worshipping cannibalistic pedophiles is running a global child sex trafficking ring and plotting against U.S. President Donald Trump, who is fighting the cabal. QAnon also commonly asserts that Trump is planning a day of reckoning known as the Storm, when thousands of members of the cabal will be arrested. No part of the conspiracy claim is based on facts.
Okay. That is so scary.
Yeah,
I mean, very... so, in the layman's words, this QAnon is the name of the theory.
Yeah.
Which is, Trump is the leader fighting against the
cabal.
Cabal is difficult. So
the political insurgents
of the Satan worshipping.
I
can't believe it. Satan worshipping cannibalism.
Cannibalism.
Cannibalism. So the people eat people, human beings.
Yeah.
And pedophiles.
Pedophiles and sex trafficking. Sex traffickers.
Those people are running the world.
Yeah.
And then Trump is the
only one fighting against them, trying to bring them down.
Oh God.
I mean, according to this theory, that Trump is such a hero. Right?
Okay. So among the Trump supporters, the part of the supporters, they have QAnon theories.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they believe in the QAnon.
Yeah.
Very, how do I say? Very cult-like.
It is cult-like. What else would you say? They believe their own thing, and then anytime you try to provide them with like evidence on the contrary, they reject it. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, so anyways, when you see the QAnon in the article, it is this theory.
Yeah.
So it's the conspiracy theory that far right normally loves.
Yeah.
Yeah. And surprisingly, some of Trump's lawyers, such as his private lawyer, those people are sharing about QAnon theories. So Twitter's banned their account.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we are basically, in conclusion, we agree. Not basically, we agree with what Twitter did.
Yep.
To the Trump's account.
Yep.
But what do you think about it?
So, I think what Twitter did is too little, too late. So plus it's kind of pointless. 2 weeks left, nothing can be done. The fact that they're ending it now before the January 20th inauguration, fine. But it's not like these agencies are not going to react to this anyways.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, as the article says, curry favor.
Yeah.
To curry favor. It's we can see that Twitter's thinking. Like, I see their kind of, we have to protect our corporation, and then we should. Trump only has 2 weeks left, so let's ban it now.
Yeah.
Because his Twitters are bad, like against the policies, and doing so will kind of act as a favor to the Biden.
Yeah.
So as a private company, you always think about your revenue.
Of course, that's all this is.
Yeah.
Because Twitter is just worried about how they're going to make money after Trump.
Yeah.
Right? Because
there was a sentence that it went down 4%.
Yeah, shares went down 4%. But that's nothing.
I think
but
so.
It's still funny.
It will come up. Yeah. Yeah, publicity of Trump was super big. Yeah, like influence, I guess.
No one knows what's going to happen after now.
Because I think so many people, not only Trump supporters, followed him. Yeah, because it's fun. It was entertaining to, I think, watch his tweets.
For us, yeah, it was entertaining to watch.
And those traders, for sure, they always follow Trump. I mean, all the world readers, I guess. And sure. That's why stock went down.
They're probably thinking that, people will sell because there's many users leaving. So, let's get ahead of the curve. So that's it's people that think that this is going to happen, so they'll get ahead. That's why it's only 4%. It was really if the financial people really thought that was a real concern, it would drop a lot more.
Yeah, true. Okay. Let's see what happens on 20th.
Let's see what happens tomorrow.
Why tomorrow?
Tomorrow's a new week.
So?
Just a new week. Just see what happens with Trump.
Oh, okay.
Like the immediate after effects. Like his own senators are now urging him to resign.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Did they file the impeachment?
I don't know. AP didn't say anything.
It's too late. I mean, you don't have to do it anymore.
Yeah, it's pointless.
But I think they just want to do it for the
appearance.
Record
yeah.
and history eyes.
It's like you already attempted an impeachment. There's no point in impeaching him now at the end. I wonder if they impeach him. Oh, if they impeach him, then maybe he loses all of his presidential benefits afterwards.
Yeah, I guess. There is a good reason, I think, to do impeachment even now.
Why impeach Trump now? All right, let's see what Google says. It doesn't really say why. It just sounds more like they're so angry that they just want him out. I don't think that's good enough to waste time and effort.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
Yeah?
We should have talked. It might be next week topic. The pardoning.
Oh, yeah, that would be a good idea.
Pardoning
himself. Preview. You can't pardon yourself without acknowledging that you had committed a crime.
It's such a comedy. Okay. Anyways, let's see what's happening next week. And we'll see you in our next podcast. Okay?
Sayonara.
はい、ちょっと今回長くなりますけれども、2人でお話しした内容を簡単に、まとめていきます。そもそも今回のその1月6日に起こった暴動っていうのがそもそもトランプが原因だったのか、トランプさんが直接引き起こした、事件だったのかと言われると、確かに突入せよとか、選挙しようとか、そういう言葉は使ってないですよね。ただ彼のその決起大会のスピーチ原稿っていうのも読んでみたんですけど、あれだけの群衆が集まっていて、マーチしよう、つまりそのデモしようっていうふうに呼びかけてるんですけど、背中を押したのは確かなので、埼玉くんはトリガーっていう言葉を使ってましたね。になったんじゃないかなっていう話をしていました。でもうこの事件っていうのは FBI の捜査がすでに始まってるというか、FBI が捜査するらしいんですよ。なので法的にもはっきりさせることになるんじゃないかなというふうに思います。で、暴動が起こった直後というか起こってる最中にトランプさんが動画を上げたんですけども、その中でその突入しているとか、その国会議事堂の周りに集まってたサポーターに対して平和的に家に帰るように促してはいたんですけども、その中で君たちは愛国者だというふうに称えていました。で、称える行為っていうのが つまりそれ正当化、その行為を正当化させるというふうに考えられる、見受けられるから、ツイッターはそれを受けて12時間まずトランプさんのアカウントを停止しました。でその後に永久停止をしたんですけども、その時の理由っていうのが、暴力を称えているとか暴力を扇動しているとか、そのツイッターが、ツイッターの観察によると、その20日、バイデンさんの、大統領就任式での武装デモがささやかれていると。でこのままアカウントをオープンにしたままだと、その彼がツイートすることに対してまたそのもっと悪い武装デモが起こってしまうというふうに心配しているというふうにツイッターは言ってました。ただ本当にそれが主役なのかっていうツイッターのね、本当にその人道的理由、公衆の安全のための、理由なのかっていうのをちょっと疑問に思って、で本当はそれもあると思うと。それもあると思うけれども、扇動に使われた、その暴力の扇動に使われたプラットフォームとして後々責任を負いたくないからじゃないかなっていうふうに、埼玉くんは話してました。で普通の人が、一般人がツイッターの上でヘイトスピーチとか虚偽とかの発言とか詐欺的なことを、していたら、その情報を投稿していたら、ツイッターはポリシーにのっとってアカウント停止できるじゃないですか。でもその政治家のそのトランプさんとか、各国のリーダーたちは優遇してきたらしいんですね。でそれを世間からずっと責められてたらしいです。なのでそのパッと見の印象としては、ついに自分たちのポリシーにのっとって停止したかっていう感じです。だからツイッターの主役としては、これ以上アカウントを保持させていたら飛び火が来るかもしれない。で彼らがそのツイッターがプラットフォームを提供していた責任を追及されるかもしれないという一企業としての自己防衛措置というのが一番大きいんじゃないっていうふうな話をしていました。で、言論の自由の議論になってるじゃないですか今。でもよく考えてみると、ツイッターって大きいです。巨大組織だし、巨大企業だし、結構そのメディアとしてすごく大きいプラットフォームになってますよね。でもあくまでも彼らは一プライベートの企業ですね。で彼ら独自のルールとポリシーがきちんと定められてます、法にのっとって。でその言論の自由っていうのはあると思うんですけども、ツイッターがヘイトスピーチを禁止してますとか、虚偽の発言はポリシーに反しますとか、そういったルールをすでに設定しているし掲げているわけだから、それに反しているアカウントを停止するっていうのは彼らが持つ権利です。で多分この言論の自由が制限されるというふうに非難している人たちは、おそらくその巨大企業が、利益を追求する企業が個人の言論の自由を左右する、言ってしまえば政府並みの力を持っていることに対して不満があるんだと思います。で確かにツイッターってすごい大きいけども、彼らがやっていることってプラットフォームを提供しているだけじゃないですか。個人個人が声を大きくできる場所というか、埼玉くんはマイクみたいなもんって言ったんですけど、使う使わないはみんな一人一人の自由ですよね。でツイッター自身も、ツイッタープラットフォームを提供する上でポリシーを持っている。でその通りに行動しているだけです。しかもそのホワイトハウスとか米国大統領の公式のツイッターアカウントっていうのは他にあるし、それは停止されてないんですよ。で大統領として 役職を全うするために、人々に国民に話しかけるっていう機能はそちらのアカウントできっちり対応できますよね。で今回停止されたのはトランプさん個人のアカウントですね。でその上で彼は虚偽の情報を投稿したり、暴力行為を扇動しうるような内容を投稿している。それがツイッターのポリシーに反している。だから永久停止したっていうことです。すごくシンプルだと思います。でここで、言論の自由、表現の自由、アメリカの権利章典の First Amendment が言論の自由、表現の自由に関するところなんですけど、それの除外事項をちょっと説明しますね。で、つまり言論の自由が保障されない行為ですね。それはわいせつなもの、詐欺、児童ポルノ、不法行為への、お誘いで差し迫った違法行為の扇動、知的財産法を犯すもの、脅迫、広告などの宣伝、これらに関しては言論や表現の自由が制約されます。きちんと書かれてますもんね。なのでこれにのっとってきっとこれがツイッター側の主張として、根拠になるんじゃないかなっていうふうに思ってます。あとトランプ以外でアカウント永久停止措置を受けてるアカウントがすごいいっぱいあるらしいんですね。でそれが何かというと、一つはその Q アノン陰謀論を広めているアカウントをツイッターは、永久停止措置をしているそうです。で Q アノンって結構最近よく見るんですけど、多分アメリカではもう2016年頃からずっとあるっぽくて、で私全く今回まで知らなくて、Q アノンってちょいちょい大統領選に出てくるなって思ってたらやっと調べたんですけど、Q アノンっていうのはまずアメリカの極右ファーライトが、提唱している陰謀論の名前です。で内容としてはアメリカ合衆国連邦政府を裏で牛耳っており、世界規模の自動売春組織を運営している悪魔崇拝者、小児性愛者の秘密結社が存在し、ドナルド・トランプはその秘密結社と戦っている英雄らしいです。で、FBI が実はこの Q アノンの、陰謀論をテロの脅威として指定されているそうです。はい。カルトみたいな感じですよね。で証拠はいろんなことを言ってるんですけど、そういう悪魔崇拝者とか小児性愛者とか日本語には書かれてなかったんですけど、あとはカニバリズム、人を食べる人たちらしいですよ、この人たちは。で彼らは自動売春組織を運営していて、かつ、アメリカの政府を裏で牛耳っているらしいです。でトランプはそれに対抗して戦っている英雄だそうです。はい、これが Q アノンという陰謀論で、本当に言ったみたいにトランプをリーダーというか崇拝するカルトみたいな感じですね。で彼らが言っていることに対して証拠は彼らは提示したこともないし、彼らがする予測は全て外れているそうです。でトランプ支持者の中に Q アノンを主張しているグループがいるんですね。だからもちろん全員じゃなくって一部がそういう考え方を持ってて広めているらしいです。でトランプのびっくりするなんですけど、私的弁護士、プライベートの弁護士などが Q アノンを広めていて、ツイッターとかでそれの人たちのアカウントが停止されたそうです。はい。なのでQ アノンというふうに、記事に出てきたら、そういう人たちの陰謀論のことだなっていうふうに、思ってください。で結論としては、ツイッターがやったことは は私たちは正しいと思っていて、むしろ若干遅いんじゃないみたいな話をしてました。もう記事にもありましたけど、トランプさんってもうずっとフェイク虚偽の投稿をすごいずっとやってて、で女性とかマイノリティとか彼が敵とみなした人たちに対する誹謗中傷を、ツイッターにバンバン投稿してきて、で、ツイッターはそもそももうポリシーに反してるのにバンしないのは何なのツイッターっていうふうにずっと批判されてきてたんですね。だから遅くないみたいなことを、言ってました。でもう残り10日しかないし、全然この永久停止措置が別に大きいことではないねっていう話をしてました。でトランプさんっていうの存在はツイッター上ですごい大きいパブリシティになってたと思うんですね。広告塔じゃないけどもすごい多くの人からフォローされてたと思うし、そのサポーターだけじゃなくて彼の言動を追うためにフォローしてた人もいっぱいいただろうし、むしろトレーダーなんて絶対見てたと思うんですよ。彼の言動に、左右されて株価が上下したりすると思うんでね、大統領なんで。だからツイッターにとっては大きいパブリシティな存在だったはずと。ただそのトランプさんが引退した後、バイデンさんに変わった後、ツイッターとしてはどうその後も売り上げを伸ばしていくかとか、その後のことを考えてバイデンさんが大統領になるし、リベラルが大統領になるしということで、そのタイミングを見て永久停止にした感じだかなっていう話になりました。はい。でその最後の最後に私は話したかったことを思い出したんですけど、恩赦ですね。で少し前のニュースでそのトランプさんの家族、娘息子、その政権に関与してた人たちとか、部下とかの任意が終わる前までに恩赦措置を取るっていう話がニュースになってたんですけど、そうじゃなくて先週だったかな、自分の恩赦も準備してるそうです。で私その自分を恩赦するんだってめちゃくちゃ面白いなと思ってちょっとだけ調べて勉強してるところなんで、次できたらその話をしたいなと思ってます。はい、めちゃくちゃ面白いですお話しするのが、勉強になりますしね。はい、じゃあこんなところで今日は終わろうかなと思います。すいません、ものすごくもう毎回長くなってるんですけど申し訳ないです。はい、じゃあ今日はこの辺りで終わります。ではちょっと日本もコロナ大変なことになってると思いますが、ご自愛、引き続きご自愛ください。良い1週間をお過ごしください。Have a wonderful week. Bye bye.